Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. We are going over the unofficial tutorial number 3, the finger waves in our designing a Japanese koi fish tattoo. And yeah, so if you're just here just for the finger waves, you're in the right place. It just happens to be part of a series where we're designing a side of the calf piece, Japanese koi fish. That's it. Let's talk about finger waves, folks. We're going to go look at a few Google examples, and then we're going to draw some of ourselves following these rules that I know, but everybody could be better at it, especially me. So anyway, I'm Clay, the techie tattooer, and if this sounds like an interesting tutorial, let's go to the iPad. All right, folks, here we are, and we just Googled Japanese finger waves. Super, super easy. A lot of these finger waves are actually great. I love these like more new school style finger waves, right? How they're like following all the same direction. These guys are kind of like jumping in front of this line here and breaking that, that's really cool. Um, you've got like these over, let's see, what other ones was I looking at really quick? Oh yeah, like this one, right? You don't oftentimes want them like jumping in different directions because any wave is crashing in one direction or the other. But the reason this makes sense to have this set going one way and these sets going the other is because it is its own distinct wave. And so that's cool, right? Like if you want it just flowing with the design and pushing the design around, that makes a ton of sense. It works really, really well. Um, yeah, let's see some of these other designs, right? Like, yeah, I was looking at this one earlier, and to me, having this wave off to the right here doesn't make a whole lot of sense because this whole wave, to me, in my aesthetic, would all be going that same direction. They'd all be crashing in the same way. So, little things like that to watch out for are super important. It's not going to be as important, though, with a design like ours, right? Like these are really cool finger waves. I'm not sure I really like how some of these are jumping out a little bit bigger, but I really like his like looping texture here that he's doing, right? Like notice how this one doesn't have any of that. They're smooth bottomed, right? There's a couple little things there and there, but he's got like these cool little jumps in his, and I really like that. That's how I do mine, is with the little lower spikes that jump with each individual loop. Again, you'll just kind of have to do your own research and see what it is you like. These are really good finger waves. Instead of he has a little bit of those spikes too coming down off of his, lots of little sub waves. I don't do so many of these little sub waves, but again, we're all going to be doing kind of our own cool version of this. My finger waves look a lot like this when I do them. Um, And so, yeah, of course, this is the most classic finger wave drawing ever. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but we all know this, right? And notice how they're all going in that same, they're all curling in the same direction that the wave is crashing in, right? These are all curling in the direction the wave is crashing in. And so that's, that ukiyo-e kind of style stuff that we get, we're used to, what we want to see. Um, I'm not even going to grab any of these really because I'm cool on that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you some of this and just kind of so you guys can get a feel for what to expect, right? And what these look like in a tattoo. Um, when we're doing our koi fish tattoos, right? If we go and we get back to here and we look at our two references, right? Again, these finger waves are all curving with the curve of the fish itself. This one's going in the opposite direction here, but really these finger waves are framing the nameplate there. Um, Again, all of these little finger waves just kind of supporting that swoosh in the direction that the fish is going. And we've kind of broken ours up to sort of do that, where this set here, we'll go onto the blue layer. Yep, we're on our blue layer now. And if you don't know how this was broken down, go ahead and go back to the other two tutorials in this series because this is the unofficial third video. But yeah, what we've got is we've got this set and this set going with the curve of the fish, and then this set and this set going opposite the curve of the fish. But that's because it makes this cool swoop pattern. That's what I was drawing there in this middle here, right? That cool swoop pattern. And so That's just what we're going to be thinking about as we're doing this, and we're just mocking this in. I am on a new layer. Yeah, exactly. I'm not getting rid of anything. So we've got our new visible layer here. I am going to go to reds for this and back to my sketching, which is going to be my inking pen, technical pen. Go ahead and click on that and just make sure, like with me, you've got your stabilization turned way down. I'm at 12 and 14%. Those are not exact numbers. It can be anywhere from 10 to 15%, and you're going to be getting roughly the same results I do. So as we're doing these finger waves and we're just mocking stuff in, right? We're going to be like, okay, well, here's this one wave. Here's this little divot. So that's really not sure. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and risk it for the biscuit. We're going to squish all of this stuff onto one layer because I'm happy with it. And we're going to drop the opacity way down so it's just not going to get in our way visually. All right, we've got our dip here and our overall wave. And then, you know, as these waves come out, you put these little things like this in them, right? These little extra lumps. And then it can swoosh down into nothing, you know, depending on if you're going to put a flower here or maybe some cherry blossom stuff, right? And you can use that to cover up any of these areas that you don't really know how to end because they're not going to swoop properly by just ending at nothing. And that's a great way, right? Part of the reason to just stick cherry blossoms and little stuff like that in it because it'll allow you to separate dip the different elements and just let them dip on their own. Um, so then this will come back here. And then instead of just like drawing the line from here and curving it out, we're going to start a different line, right? And bring it in like this, bring it back, have it do one of these little funky lump things. We're going to give it one lump and then two, bring it in, give it one of these. This guy's probably going to get a couple little smaller waves coming off of him. Come on. Right, and we're not going to want to make those waves come up this opposite direction like we would with like flames, right? Like that doesn't make sense. These have got to come in that same direction here, right, as that wave, right? As they're all kind of going this way. And again, as this comes around, this is going to be its own thing. We're going to lump it. We'll just do two lumps on this guy. So he's going to get one of these. So nice, fun little S pattern. His own lump, come in. He's got his own lump here. And then this one will be a little bit bigger. Coming around like this. Right, and there we are for that last little finger wave set. And again, these are just super rough mock-ins, right? And what I just did there is I'm just balancing the distance, this distance, and this distance, right? So that it just makes a little bit more sense, a little more balanced. And right, so that's going to be that first round wave there. And really, this fin will come in front of this wave here, so it'll look like it's kind of tucked in and splashing through it. But we'll get there when we get there and start erasing out the right things. Boop. A little bit more shallow. Wah. Wah. Yoink. Yoink. Here. And then, no, and then we'll go. So like we'll continue this. So this line here, we're going to continue that shading shape. That's going to pop out like that, right? And continue that shading shape. This one's going to get 3. It's nice and long. And then it's going to get another couple little sub waves popping off of it. Those don't really look like right coming out the top. So what I'm going to do is, so it's using this is going to come out this way and this way probably. Yeah, so then come in through here. Does this guy get a lump? He might. This guy gets like a little lump. This one comes out with this wave here. And right, so we're going to want to like fill this space. See how we've got this negative space here between this fin and this fin, right? So that means we're going to fill that space in. Behind here, go behind this fin here. This guy a lump or two. Yeah, let's give him a couple lumps. No, we just want to go straight into more fingers. Maybe this finger comes up above here. And this finger goes in here like this. And then we'll probably do actually a separate one that's going to come in front of this guy. Maybe we do make this all the way bigger. That means we'll put a lump in him here and here. Come out all the way past that. I'm going to grab my cutting tool. I'm going to cut this out. Change its angle, uniform, give it a twist. Yep, that's better. And that'll give us room for like a couple little more guys coming out there and there somewhere. Yeah, that'll be in. This will be behind this, so we won't even see these two. It's just going to pop out there. But then as this is coming back, I'm going to bring it like this. I'm going to do one that goes over the fish. And that's just going to tuck under that fin there and here. And we could even, do like an extra splash in between if we wanted. Just to show it's like super in there and having a great time. Right, we could absolutely do that. That makes a lot of sense. And these coming out from here. Yeah, we'll do that. We're going to get some other waves coming through. I like to go opposite on this kind of stuff just because it looks good. Right, and I'm leaving a little housing for this thing to end, right, for his little whisker to end on. I'm totally doing that on purpose, right? Purposeful little housing for that. Maybe even a matching finger wave to kind of go with it, right? Because that looks kind of cool. Right, and then one last little set. Right, and that is our mock-in of our finger waves. And let's go ahead, drop the opacity on that layer as well, and start hitting it up with our calligraphy pen. I'm going to get rid of those blue lines so we don't confuse ourselves. Bring this up just a little bit more. Go to a new layer, get on my black, and go to calligraphy, monoline. Yep. Oh, yeah. Just in case you cared what I have the stabilization up, 60 and 60, 60, 58, but whatever, 60 and 60. And I am all the way down to size 1 on a 300 DPI standard sheet of paper sized canvas. All right, let's get to it. Yep, I'm on the right layer, my new layer here. And I'm going to change my mind just a little bit with this. This is going to come through and give me one of these. Go nice and thin. Come around. Give me another one. Nice and thin. Not nearly as curvy as I made them. A little bit more regimented, a little bit more spiked out into a single direction. A little bit more spiked out into a single direction. I'm just going to put one there because that's all it needs. So that means actually what I am going to do then is give it one of these. And then this is going to come from down here. Do the same thing where I'm going to give it a little bit of a spike here, that little vampire boop. So then that way when this comes in from here, pow, right? And those will be those finger waves there. This we can add like little extra directionality like that, right? Add some fun stuff in here and here to go with those waves. But we don't need to worry about that so much right now. Just know that that's how these lines are going to swoop through, right? You know, you'll put things like that on them and whatnot. That's what these kind of spikes are leading into, right? Is like, see how we can create that cool little divot there now, right? And shade from in here and shade from in there, and boom, that just makes a ton of sense. Same kind of thing here, right? Where we can go from this spike, and then now we've got this other little sub pocket for this wave to kind of be shown that, like, you know, yeah, it's in front, right? And it's doing its own little thing. Um, those are just the kind of things you're going to want to keep in mind as you're doing these finger waves, right? Keeping that in mind, that's probably too big. We just want it tiny like that, right? Yeah, this is probably a little bit too swoopy to be like classic Japanese style, and want it to be a little bit more regimented. There we go, right? Just a little bit less, wow, absolute craziness. And again, we're going to straighten these out a bit as we make these choices, right? Coming from this angle, we're going to bring that swoop in. Right, and you can see that this comes from this line continues back behind, so this finger just kind of like poked out above everything or in front of everything. Those are those like continuity lines you're going to want to stick to when you're doing this. No, this one's got to be pulled back a little bit more, so this one's got to be smaller to get that flow right. Yep, there we go. And then this one's going to come out, so we're going to swoop it, bring it around so you can see it underneath the fin. And really, I forgot, those won't even be visible because they're going to be behind the fin here, right? So that didn't even matter, but yeah, so this is going to be gone. All of this is going to be behind the fin, all behind the fin, all behind the fin. And so, yeah, we're just going to see that little bit poke out. This is going to be in front of our design, however. So bring this around. Keep this back behind the gill, right? So it doesn't get in the way of that. So the head is nice and visible all on its own. Right, it's going to go behind. So it's going to poke out and then back behind that fin there. Yep. Same with this stuff. We're just going to keep this going. I'm going to start with this one though. Boop. It'll probably get 3. No, we're just going to do 2. This will just be long. Disappear. You're going to come out and over. I don't have any of the other ones that are that curved, so that doesn't look right. None of mine are that curved. Mine are much straighter. And so that means this is going to come from much lower or not at all. I think not at all. I think we're going to give it one of these. One of these. Right, and so notice how these are too much at the same angle. We want them to fan so that each one has their own angle outside of the little radius starting point, right? And so that's why I switched that one up there to make sure that it's got its own little radial point. Same with this guy. Make sure he's got his own little radial point. And also make sure that we're not ending at this little intersection of those two lines, that this has its nice own little open, clear space to come out from. Okay. Now to the opposite ones, you're going to get a nice little wave here, here. Again, making sure we're going from opposite little radial points, or rather not opposite, but just distinct, right? Notice how this line should be coming directly through there, but it's not. We're interrupting it. Since I've got this line going, we're going to keep that line going. Boom, boom. Right, there we are for that one. And then, yep, that's finished. You come up like this. Like having that lump on just a single unit. I'm just going to come straight down into there. Yep. right, and there are our finger waves, folks. All right, that's what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and turn the opacity up on this guy. We've got some erasing to do, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it just in case I end up going back and not liking what we ended up with here, because we don't want to do all this erasing and then realize we messed something up and not be able to go back to our clean, perfect line work. Yeah, this one is going to be behind as well, because that'll just be, maybe it should be in front. Nah, we'll go ahead and make all of it behind. That'll be cool. That'll be all right. We're not going to lose too much dynamicness if we just make this first splashy splash all in front. All right, so there's that. And then this one comes in front. Let's see, how does it do that? It just curves straight in from here. And I got this a little bit more lined up directly with this scale than I would normally like, but we'll survive that, because really that's two lines just doubled up right next to each other, and that's just going to look like a thick dark spot. But yeah, what you gonna do? Yep, there we are. Finger waves on our Japanese style koi fish tattoo. Next up, we're going to do, I think it's the fourth video in this series, where we're going to go ahead and just sink our blacks and color it. I'm not sure if that's going to be two videos or if I'm going to get to the blacks and the color at the same time, because if you notice, there's actually not a lot of black in these, right? That black can just be considered part of the color palette. Even in this guy, it's a black fish, but there's only that brown shading here, right? And that could even be considered just full color. The black in it is part of the koi fish's color, not what you would consider the normal sinking your blacks in a tattoo, like American traditional or a neo-traditional design. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions at all. I've had so much fun doing this, and I can't wait to finish this guy. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share with somebody if you think you found it interesting and they might too. Otherwise, catch you guys next time.